Need some cash? Well, sell those unwanted goods that are cluttering up the cupboard or the shed on the 4KZ Trading Post show this afternoon between 1 and 4 p.m. by calling 40 617 222. The KZ Network.
由于这些巨在进攻，将使地基处理。世界上最早的世界性能源采访当中，记者发现，每个人几乎都遭遇过类似就在高层地方要面对进行路线的还更有因为工作原因，都经常需要乘坐火车出差。说起车厢里的熊孩子，一直有孩子在那闹，然后自己也休息不了，也影响别人。经常出差的石家庄市民孙先生表示，有领是同样的感受。
坐高铁的时候，经常遇到这种情况。有时候 可能上班那会儿2个小孩在车厢里跑来跑去，要不那怕闹声音事儿特别大，这是问题。
I think that's a very good way to close, and I won't ever be able to repay you for this interview, but I will come back next year and try and put something in, and I want to thank you for your time. As a fire mama can know.
Can I just say this? I was part of the establishment of Henry Reborn, and I understand it's not easy for you to discover, but thank you for the privilege. Thank you for allowing me to share some of my cobwebs on your endless passion. But I just love it, so thank you, Joe.
It was Mamai Takare. It's 24 minutes to 1 o'clock. You're listening to RNZ National in Mapuna. The Koro Neihana, as I think you can understand, means so much to so many people. And it is supported by many iwi of Aotearoa, evidenced by the thousands who attended the Kawamate of Timotu yesterday. Not only do they come to, as we said, reconnect and re-engage, they also come to return to a very special place, a very special tent, the famous TT tent. We spoke to the head chef of the mutton bird cooking, the TT tent, to assess how important this Koronehana is. Loki Dawidi, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Head chef, head dishwasher, head aharane. And the most famous TT tent in the world. What's it like, Paki, being back?
華語流行樂女歌手林憶蓮演唱嘅歌曲，歌詞簡單卻好動人，描述一個女生喺公園裏邊聽到細路仔玩耍嘅笑聲，令佢回憶起童年時期教佢折紙飛機嘅小伙伴。歌曲嘅開場同串場都以童聲嚟和襯，十分甜美悅耳。簡單嘅吉他映襯林憶蓮嘅歌聲，令成首歌呈現清爽真摯嘅動人氣氛。說鐵路部門借鑑靜音車廂，拓展出兒童專用的非安全車廂，未尝不可。
对车厢方式也不存在技术上的障碍，只需要把高铁某几节车厢设置为非安全车厢即可，以方便儿童、成人交谈、打牌等的实际需要，在旅客选择时给予一定的提醒。
对于儿童专用非安全车厢的定价问题，李鸿昌进一步分析说，
定价问题需要综合考虑铁路的市场性和公益性的双重属性。若强调市场性，就可以制定差异化的产品价格；若强调公益性，则按照统一价格进行不同车厢的选择和定价。在我国国情下，目前还是比较适合采用统一定价方式，方便不同主体乘客的实际出行需求。
中国的商车导播收费流量漫游费，实现单位流量平均资费下降超过95%。网络提速降费的实施，促进了互联网多功能、多业态、多模式蓬勃发展，互联网生活性服务实现规模化推广。同时，面对疫情期间居家生活、办公、在线学习等活动用网的需求，实现了网络不堵、服务不断、性能不降。
目前，我国已全面建成线上线下一体化政务服务平台，实现全程网办、一网通办。截至今年7月，全国电信业务持证企业超过13万家，是2012年的4.9倍。信息通讯行业蓬勃发展，同时安全保障能力不断增强。谢词说，
行业数据安全监管体系初步建立，基础电信网络保持安全稳定运行，工业互联网、车联网、5G 等新型基础设施安全保障框架体系初步形成。
易开德写作型体系，易开德中国国家南极科考队指定试水平台，各大电商平台及全国专卖店均有售。
简单做，又抗湿，得力新鲜泡酒店，全系无产品，全面健康食品，新鲜下产，如意。健康好油看油酸，鲁花高油酸花生油，油酸含量8%以上，油酸多多，健康多多，香味多多，鲁花高油酸花生油。智慧农场智能
港口智能教育、自动驾驶这些走在科技前端的智能场景，未来将越来越多。科技部
Marine on Commercial Drive Cardwell. Call in now.
When you're looking for tyres, make sure you see the guys at Dawes Goodyear Auto Care Tully. They stock a terrific range of passenger, four-wheel drive and tractor tyres. Plus, if you need your vehicle serviced or repaired, give Dawes Goodyear Auto Care Tully a go. Rob, Julianne and their friendly team offer top service and great prices you'd expect from a Goodyear Auto Care Centre. And remember, they have an on-farm tyre service. Dawes Goodyear Auto Care Tully. Phone 40 681466 or see them at the main lights on the highway.
Hi, I'm Ian at Elders Real Estate Mission Beach. Here to let you know that we specialise in property in the Cassowary Coast area. Are you thinking about selling? Who can you trust to achieve the best result with your home, farm or vacant land? Here at Elders Mission Beach, our focus is to achieve the best price in a timeline that suits you and with the least amount of stress on your family. Find out what your property is worth. Call Toby at Elders Mission Beach 0448 033 913.
It's going to be massive. The Cairns Hardware 14th Cardwell Barra Bonanza with nominations closing September 7.
They expect this, but anything in particular you observe from the way people like Chris Luxon, even the Prime Minister, being held to account in that way?
Yeah, and I welcome the challenge, but both of them do. We're held us to account, and there's no account there's no denying that happened here. Ms. Ardern herself also, did say pointers to things that have happened in the past years, and said, we still have to, using the analogy of Te Arawhiti, the bridge, saying we still have to cross this. There's still work to do, and, saying keep holding us to account on that, which definitely has been happening. There was also some, actually, for the government, some acknowledgement of Te Potumara kind of used words, small mercies. Things like the Matariki public holiday, which is celebrated this year. The fact that next year, Tamariki will be learning New Zealand history at school. We're going to talk about that resource in a bit soon. But, that those things are happening. So it's not all challenge. It's also, it's a stock take, right? Yeah. What have we achieved? And also it's been a tough year. Things like COVID, to Potemara raise a point that it has challenged us and that we have had to, adapt tikanga, and we are in a difficult point of seeing what settles and how we are with that. A lot has changed in 3 years since the last in person.
Now, I watched the live broadcast. Did my eyes deceive me, or did I witness Christopher Luxon, Dr. Shane Letty, Debbie Ngaruapeka, Te Anu Tuiono, and Clark Gayford dancing on the marae?
Yes, your eyes did not deceive you at all. That is absolutely what happened. And, I will reserve judgment on the dancing itself, but it did happen. Dancing is a loose definition.
There was movement. Not necessarily, I think, in an organised fashion, but there was movement, and this happens as a result of the Tainui Kuia are known to perform the kupi, right? They do this dance, and they ask people to come up and join them. And I think that Awiri Waititi got himself in a position where he was sure he didn't have to display too much and didn't have to get up, which is, again, a testament to his long-term experience in going on to Turanga Waiwai Marae. Now, I know there's a lot more happening, and you're quite right, so you can reserve judgment on the dancing. Let's move to other things.
I'm still the last person gone.
Let's move to other things happening at the marae. Now, there is an important launch, as you mentioned earlier, happening at the marae today, right?
Yeah, it just wrapped up, actually. So, Te Aroha Te Kingitanga. Developed with the Ministry of Education, telling the story of the Kingitanga and its
APP 我们一定要打歌和我们最常见的这些地图就形成无缝对接，让人们在使用过程中最快收到资讯，找到想要使用的这些基础设施。考虑到不同层次需求的类别，我们去做会更有针对性。
视频和直播的技术科技上，三龙迎来了一个多赛道市场，不光只是农产品，还有农村的土特产，还有农村的旅游资源，都要进入到我们的视野，而且它是一个多子的市场。这一波数字技术的普及，被众多的社群到乡村振兴的主体所关注，大家都非常积极的参与到这个活动当中，去创造价值、分享价值。这当中既有传统的农户、老手艺、老农民，也有新农民，还有返乡人，也有公司，也有中间机构，包括我们的数字平台，都在这个当中最为发挥的作用。所以这是一次多赛道、多主体、移头并进的活动。
今天的天下财经节目就到这里，主持人刘莎、小勇，编辑赵科、王颖，监制刘林松，感谢您的收听。
您可以登录央视财经客户端，实时在线收听、点播、回放经济之声广播节目。收听更多音频内容，请下载云听客户端。更多精彩节目，欢迎登录央广网。
随后是经济之声周末特别节目《王冠红人馆》
12点到13点，天天315消费帮帮团与您共同关注如何为盲盒经济立好规矩。欢迎各位到时收听。
奶粉上6维营养组合，祝你的小脑瓜更聪明。我是妈妈，很心情，奶粉就喝
精心打造的传世之宝新桥，做工精美，土质上乘，传世之宝，坚实传承，终情永恒。详询农行各网点。
装修后左手撤新家，
单车树马上住，8小时定位住新家。
装修咱选单车树，北京2022年冬奥会官方辅料独家供应商。
中国单车树，健康马上住。
双汇冷鲜肉，安全放心。双汇开创中国肉类品牌。黄泰门窗，杭州亚运会官方指定门窗。黄泰门窗，就是中国好浴室，高精卫浴，高端品质，匠心品牌。巨匠智能开门机，为您开启智能幸福门。巨匠，装着家，
选老卡，
新品质，
选老卡，
高颜值，
选老卡，
老卡全都定制。
那个出好茶，上好的茶小品质，以及呢蕴含着万南的品味智慧，加茶类创制，加品茶技艺，也运用出了独具特色的福家文化，成做福建的一张亮丽名片。事实上，福建是海上丝绸之路加文艺茶道重要地点。现如今呢，茶产业已经是成做福建重要的优势特色产业。2022年第3届海事国际茶文化论坛第6活动，将于6月27号到30号，伫所有中国各地偏向旅游的福建灵桥福鼎市举办。海内外茶界人士200多人参加了活动，到阵呢聊茶园、中华茶叶。好，下面咱今日节目的开始呢，就让咱斗阵行入福建，来感受一场福茶盛宴。6月29號呢，以海事地道福茶調獎為主題的2022年第3屆海事國際茶文化論壇，讓中國嘅茶茶志向福建靈橋福鼎市籌備了這個活動。
back to win the second one-dayer against the West Indies. New Zealand scored 212, and a short time ago the West Indies were on 7 in the 21st over. Trent Boult and Tim Southee have taken 3 wickets each. And that's the news.
This Sunday morning, Andrea Sheardown was given 6 weeks to live. She decided to change her whole attitude to living. Nearly 7 years later, she's still here. Anne Perrottet's had 13 children. They've turned out well. Anne's the Premier of New South Wales at the moment. She developed a few attitudes too, which came in useful. She's written a book. Anne O'Brien's last 11 years have been all about books. Anne's saying farewell to the Auckland Writers and Readers Festival. Don McGlasham's calling home from Canada as well. Sunday morning from 8 o'clock on RNZ National.
On air, online and on demand. Charlotte Lyons here with Music 101 for your afternoon. That's after the Met Service long-range forecast for all New Zealand to midnight Wednesday. The situation first, a series of fronts moves east across New Zealand this weekend from the Tasman Sea. Looking at the weather to midnight tomorrow. Northland to Taranaki, also Coromandel, Bay of Plenty and Taupo. Occasional showers mainly in the west from Waitomo to Taranaki. Gisborne and Hawke's Bay, fine. Whanganui, Taihape and Manawatu, also Wairarapa, partly cloudy with isolated showers. Horowhenua to Wellington, also Nelson, Bulla and Westland. Occasional rain or showers easing tomorrow evening. Marlborough, Canterbury and Otago, except Clutha. Generally fine today, a few showers about Marlborough and some coastal low cloud, scattered rain at times tomorrow. Southland and Clutha, mostly fine at first today, occasional rain or showers from this evening. Fiordland, periods of rain, possibly heavy. Chatham Islands, low cloud with a few showers or drizzles. And the outlook for the following 3 days. North Island, Monday, scattered showers or rain for most. Tuesday, scattered showers, clearing to fine but remaining partly cloudy in the west. Wednesday, cloudy periods with isolated showers developing in the west, fine elsewhere. South Island on Monday, rain in the west and south, clearing to fine, becoming cloudy elsewhere. Tuesday, rain with some heavy falls in the west and far south, mainly fine elsewhere. And Wednesday, rain with heavy falls in the west easing, scattered rain elsewhere but becoming fine elsewhere. And at the Chathams, a few showers, turning to rain sometime Tuesday, fine spells developing on Wednesday, northerlies turning easterly on Tuesday, changing westerly on Wednesday. That ends the Met Service long-range forecast to midnight on Wednesday. It's 6:1, more news and weather at 2.
让老百姓呢在社区生活的健康、平安、快乐，打造我们这种幸福家园。
本台消息，国务院总理李克强18号主持召开国务院常务会议，部署推动降低企业融资成本和个人消费信贷成本的措施，加大金融支持实体经济力度。部署加大困难群众基本生活保障力度的举措，兜牢民生底线，确定支持完好女人 the sentence.
The punishment fits the crime in this case, absolutely. What he did to the Americans and all the other hostages, he will spend the rest of his days in a cell and have the time to consider what he's done.
In a statement, the Attorney General Jessica Abel said this case had always been about the victims, and while the sentence did not take away any pain felt by victims' families, she hoped that it would bring some justice.
Nomi Iqbal reporting. In late January 2020, the American basketball legend Kobe Bryant and his teenage daughter and a number of family friends died when their helicopter crashed into a California hillside in dense fog. His widow sued Los Angeles County a fortnight later after she heard reports that first responders and firefighters allegedly took photos of the crash site and shared them. That invasion of privacy case is currently into its 8th day in a U.S. federal court after Vanessa Bryant refused a financial settlement offer by LA County over the emotional distress caused to the families who lost relatives in the crash. Peter Bowes is our correspondent in Los Angeles who joins us live on the newsroom. And Peter, Vanessa Bryant has been testifying today. What has she been saying?
Well, it was emotional testimony. She was sobbing on the witness stand as she described the moment when, at home with her other children, she was reading the Los Angeles Times about the story of these photographs and how they'd been taken at the scene and apparently distributed amongst colleagues of those who took them. She said she bolted out of the house so her girls couldn't see her. She said she felt like running down the block and just screaming. She said she was blindsided, devastated, hurt and betrayed by the news of this leak. And she said she lives in fear every day of having these images appear in social media. She said, I don't ever want to see these photographs. She said, I want to remember my husband and my daughter the way they were.
Is the defence from LA County likely to be that the photos were shared but not widely in the public domain?
Not at all in the public domain, and we'll hear the defence argument in detail when the trial resumes next week. But yes, a lawyer for LA County, the employer of those people who took the photographs, the lawyer made the point that the site of the accident is generally photographed in situations like this. It was an accident scene, and it's not unusual that officers would take photographs, and that it was the case that they had not been posted anywhere publicly. They're not online, and they're not in the media.
And just finally, what is the possible outcome? Financial compensation, of course, but possibly jail sentences as well?
This is about financial compensation for emotional distress caused by what she says is unreasonable invasion of her privacy. Vanessa Bryant is seeking unspecified millions in damages for the suffering that she's endured, having turned down a financial settlement from the county last year. There is another party involved in this lawsuit as well, a man called Chris Chester, who lost his wife and daughter in the crash.
Peter Bowes reporting from Los Angeles. You're listening to the BBC World Service, and Gareth has the headlines.
Saudi security forces are trying to end an attack on a hotel in the capital, Mogadishu. It's the first major incident there since the new president took office in May. A former Mexican attorney general has been arrested in connection with the disappearance and murder of 43 student teachers 8 years ago. And fellow writers have been paying tribute to Salman Rushdie in New York at a public reading organised after he was stabbed.
Yes, the 75-year-old author suffered serious injuries a week ago at a literary event, and readings of his works were held in Manhattan, from where Nader Taufik reports.
New York has been Sir Salman Rushdie's home for the past decade and a half. As he lies in hospital on the road to recovery, the literary community here is still reeling from the attack on his life and the attack on his freedom to write. In a show of support, the authors gathered on the steps of the public library and used their voices to share personal stories of Sir Salman and passages from his body of work, including his memoir, Joseph Anton, read by Siri Husvet.
And he worried that his Indian connection had weakened. He needed to make an act of reclamation.
And his controversial novel, The Satanic Verses, viewed by some Muslims as blasphemous. It was read out by Harry Kunzer.
I will read the opening of The Satanic Verses. To be born again, sang Gabriel Farisha, tumbling from the heavens.
The organizers hope this event will help raise Sir Salman's spirits. They said he knew it was taking place and intended to watch. The demonstration today is reminiscent of another held in 1989 after Iran's Ayatollah issued a religious ruling calling for Sir Salman's death. Writers then also stood up for the Indian-born British author and criticized stores that refused to carry his novel.
There are all kinds of threats to freedom of speech that couldn't have been imagined.
Suzanne Nossel is the president of PEN America, the free expression advocacy group of which Sir Salman served as president.
So much of our public discourse now happens in the digital arena. We face online harassment, the violent spread of disinformation. Here in the United States, we're dealing with a pandemic of book bans and curriculum bans in higher education across the country. So it's a different environment.
Today, nous sommes Salman.
His friends and colleagues hope this will be a watershed moment for free speech, and they look forward to hearing his voice again soon.
Leather traffic reporting. US-based conspiracy theory QAnon shot to attention after accusations are helped to inspire violence in the wake of the 2020 presidential election. But its influence has also been felt internationally, including across the border in Canada, where one influencer has proclaimed herself Queen. But as our disinformation reporter Rachel Schreier has been finding out, followers who believe Queen Romana's word is law have been in for a bit of a shock.
因为当时台里有一个叫“走进上市公司”的活动，我当时是陪着很多投资者去到了这个新增机器人，它是我们国内在这个Sissy D领域非常领先的大企业。在5年前，当时去看它的那个整个的工厂，进去之后，对，就是到了现场，第一反应就是机器人比人多，然后机器人给机器人上活。就是你见它那个大型的那个工厂，人是非常少的，人类非常少，然后所有的这个流程基本上就是在机械臂要进行简单的分拣组装。甚至当时他给我们展示一个细节，他那个机械臂已经精细到了什么程度？然后白色的这样大的机械臂，它可以相当于用力气用筷子一样，可以扎起非常小的一些东西。可是那是5年前，现在我们看到它基本上，尤其是这个真空机器人手臂应用于半导体的制造领域，已经打破了国外的垄断，填补了国内真空手技术以及市场的空白。就是可怪，在最近5年的时间当中，我们国家机器人产业一是市场需求大，二是这个技术进步也是非常大。
来，我们说一说制造业国之重器。
因为看了这些报道之后，我非常的感动。因为从1995年开始，一直到2008年，我们从事国外进口的这个设备的贸易我们当时的企业说了，我们说吧，制造业是一个国家的最厚重的一个底蕴，它也是一个最稳定发展底蕴的。就说德国、日本为例子，他们的制造业就非常的发达。但是经过这么多年了，我当时在我提供设备的时候，我感觉当年我很多的核心设备还是需要进口的，比如说纯风技术，比如说很多的关键过滤的这个熔断技术都是需要进口。但是现在我们看到这些报道中，我们的机器人已经达到非常先进的一个程度了。比如说，我说一个特别重点我关注的制造业第二个。
当交村呢是一个高福比例提升，机灵滚先着人，半屏山景区有蜿蜒曲折的海岸线，依然迷人的金色山川，这些鲜明的民俗文化、天然的地理优势，加融合海岛人文历史，这互伊呢是伫这港性二环美丽乡村。这港县3A区旅游特色村，这港县最佳农业、企业体验村，温州市10大美丽乡村顶头行。伊呢也是东头最早的乡市海岛民宿经营的村。东桥村村委书记主任黄球伟对有这段经历是非常熟悉。伊讲。这全区阮是头一个村开民宿的。这3栋厝呢，经了8家，每家呢交2个房间，每一个房间是一张门床，保底200块。这个厝呢，大家拢开始做了，人客也真多，换到通车拢无所在车了。到现在，阮的民宿是102家，现在又有一家拄来咧办，就是103家了。阮创办了一个专业合作社，伊甲小调专业合作社，将这些人呢全部归在合作社内面，以阮合作社去办理。有一个主体，后来呢，现在其他民宿全部模仿阮安尼来办，对着办合作社，全部是以阮为主。因为呢，阮是最早开这个民宿的。东桥村占地面积是0.35平方公里，为户口的人口是1786人，民宿经济面积敢若是70多亩。解放初期以渔业为生产的，渔民店的山顶，农民店的山顶。改革开放之后，东桥发展第2产业，拥有包括海产品、水产品的加工厂等等在内的10几个企业。2006年，这东头半岛通车之后，游客量是大大的增加。东桥村自细先依托好体照处，发展这个民宿经济，将这个老厝小可装修。
真
Another user suggested there was only one solution: termination, end of story, full stop.
Terry Egan. Now the sports with Adam Samuel.
Thank you, Nigel.
And Manchester United have agreed to sign Real Madrid midfielder Casemiro in a deal worth up to $80 million. Former Premier League midfielder John Hutchinson is impressed by the deal.
He's not going to solve all the problems because he can't do it on his own. All of a sudden it might just send a few ripples around Europe where they go, actually, Man United mean business, because the Casemiro signing could be a brilliant one.
Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel has been fined $41,000 by the FA after his touchline skirmish with Tottenham manager Antonio Conte, and Conte was fined $17,000.
I think that sometimes can happen. This type of situation, no. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time that two coaches are not agreed.
In the Premier League today, Conte starts playing well before Everton host Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa travelled to Crystal Palace, Leicester welcome Southampton, and Fulham face Brentford. Then in the evening, Arsenal are away at Bournemouth. South Africa have thrashed England in the first cricket test at Lord's by an innings and 12 runs. South Africa captain Dean Elder says his decision to put England into bat on the first day paid off in a big way.
I wasn't quite sure what to do, but went with my gut, and thank God our bowlers pitched and got the ball in the right area. We took our chances and we created a lot of chances in that first session, and I thought we batted hard. To get a 160-run lead is huge, especially with our bowling attack. So pretty happy with the result.
Finally, Anthony Joshua weighed in 10 kilograms heavier than champion Alexander Usyk tonight's heavyweight world title rematch in Saudi Arabia. Joshua says he's ready for any eventuality.
I'm going to look instinctively what's working and then work on that, not stick on in one gear the whole fight. I've got to be more adaptive. One gear ain't going to win this fight. You've got to be able to adapt.
And that's the latest world sport from the BBC. Adam Samuel. Now Gareth has some more stories from the news desk.
The American actor and director Alec Baldwin has said the assistant director and props manager for his movie Rust were responsible for the on-set death of the cinematographer during filming last year in New Mexico. Henry Hutchins was killed when Mr. Baldwin accidentally discharged a gun that he was holding. He said the weapon should not have been loaded. The controversial online influencer Andrew Tate has been banned from Instagram and Facebook. The parent company Meta said the former reality TV star, who described himself as a misogynist and sexist, violated company policies. He's already banned on Twitter and TikTok. And Shazam, a popular app that identifies songs as using a snippet of music, has released data to celebrate its 20th anniversary. Drake has been the most searched artist on the app, where Dance Monkey by Tones and I is the most Shazam song ever, with more than 41 million people searching for the track alone. Thanks, Gary.
Well, it's time for something out of the children's park. A seal squeezing through a cat flap and taking up residence on a family sofa. But that's what happened to the Ross family in New Zealand. The seal enjoyed a few hours in their house at Mount Manegua, south of Auckland, before a ranger came and took it away. The BBC's Carolyn Quinn has been speaking to Dad Phil, 10-year-old Harry, and Mum Jane.
I actually saw it quite early on in the morning. I heard a bit of a barking, grunting noise under the car, and I thought, somebody stole straight on. So I started the car and moved it gently, and then saw a seal in the headlights. I thought, we live near the ocean, so I went on nothing more of it other than that's an interesting start to my day. When I came home, I opened the garage door, walked in the pedestrian door, and there were a few buckets out of place, and I thought, oh, that's a bit odd. But then when I went to open the next door into the actual hallway, I bumped against something, and I thought there's no way the seal would have fitted in through those cat doors. And then next thing I hear is this flippity flop along the hallway. It sounds a lot like a seal.
So the seal had got in through two cat flaps?
Yeah.
The seal would have gone around the side of the house, chasing the cat, I imagine, and dived them through the two cat flaps, trying to either chase it or,
check it out.
See where it's gone.
So what was it like for Ari? What did you think when you knew that a seal had been wandering around your house?
I just thought, how did it get in here? Why is it here? And what are we going to do?
用個福奇廣播電台大陸環球廣播，每日用大陸方言嚟radio嚟介紹嚟萬能
feel? What does this note feel like? What's the geography of this note emotionally? Because perfect pitch is not really so theoretical. It's more of like an intuition for memory, and you can develop a set of memory skill chops with memory in all sorts of fields of life. And I'm really lucky that at that age my mum was able to kind of ask the right questions, I suppose, because that sort of memory can come in really handy as a musician.
In what way? How can it be handy?
Well, if you're creating a song, that process often starts with listening. I mean, everything starts with listening, even things beyond music. But if you're able to listen to a song on the radio or a song that somebody plays or a piece of music that you've never heard before and be able to identify the components of that song, so say I have a C major chord that's being played. If I know that chord is a C major chord as it goes past, it's kind of fun because it means you're able to identify its properties and perhaps understand, even emotionally, with more resolution, understand how that chord is capable of moving someone or even how it can move you, So it's like having a set of 3D glasses or something. You're able to put them on and think, oh, I see the gravities, I see the momentums, I understand the forces. But then, of course, you can just take the glasses off and you can enjoy music as well. That's far more important.
You mentioned your mum before, talking to you about music, from the age of 2 and being surrounded by musical instruments in your house. Do you think they ever had an imagination that you'd be a Grammy winner?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I really ever did, and I'm not sure they did either. I was raised by my mum, and she was such a special force for enabling things. I don't think she ever really thought, oh, God, it'd be great if Jacob was really famous or, has Grammys or a whole bunch of money or whatever. I think for us as a family, we've always just really loved things that give us goosebumps and things that give us those tingles. And I think that in seeking those out, sometimes the world takes you by surprise. I was totally bowled over to win Grammys. I still can't believe it. They're sitting over there on my Rolex. It's just the most surreal feeling. But it's such a cool privilege to be recognized by people who make music. And that's one of the reasons I really love the Grammys, is that it's not voted on by the music industry or people who run, those kind of, those gatekeepers. It's people who make music. It's the producers and the engineers and the songwriters, and those are the people that I am a student of. So it's all one big language that we're building together. It's this massive conglomerate that is music, and the Grammys are great, but they're also completely made up. And so it's important to remember that the only real things that are going on here are, connecting with people and bringing joy to people and discovering parts of life and being who you are and looking inward and looking outward. And those forces are very unaffected by such things, but the opportunity to learn about the world and to travel and to collaborate and to reach people, I think those things can grow with such things. So I do feel incredibly lucky.
There's a patch of sunlight in my room. When the paper held you for a moment, there was something so sweet about it.
Wellington date apparently too. You've got a huge fan base here. I wondered, you were just mentioning about connecting with people, and you haven't been able to tour for the last 3 years. Like the whole world, it's been shut down. Has that affected you because you haven't been able to connect with people in that performance level?
There's a ravenousness that I feel that I also think the audience feels at these shows. I've done 70 shows so far this year, and I cannot put into words the cathartic joy that I have felt doing the shows, but I think that the appetite is so high for, not just hearing music and hearing songs, but just being with people and also, the world in its very strange climate right now in so many respects, politically and environmentally, and so many things besides. You've got wars and distress and challenges and all sorts of things. I find myself really holding onto music as a language that can surpass all of those things, and I think people love a reason to feel connected to each other rather than to be separate from one another. And I think social media, whilst it has done wonders for me as a purveyor of storytelling and so many others besides, and it can be very connective on the surface, also can really kind of emphasize the parts of connectivity that show us for how we are different. But I think music has an inherent ability to show us for how we are the same, and there's something about being in a room with 2,000 people that just nothing else can touch, and there's something so irrefutably joyous about that. Even besides playing the songs and singing and playing and all of that stuff, I think there's something so crucial right now about what music is able to bring to people as human beings.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I had a look at your tour dates before we chatted this morning. You are visiting the most amazing places, leading up to when you arrive here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Is touring a real highlight for you? Is that what it is for you in music?
It didn't used to be. I used to really love creating music in a production space, and then touring was something that I did off the back of that.
年啊，阿哥你即陣聽到呢首歌係你所唱嘅，無厘粗天阿演唱卡，被所唱面貼金啲位，咱就是即刻來一啲發行。即陣咱來聽一首關於你年度部分天嘅歌曲，來自中國內地男歌手劉浩林演唱嘅《離奇》。
双汇冷鲜肉安全放心，双汇开创中国肉类品牌，双汇冷鲜肉安全放心，双汇开创中国肉类品牌。
来关注新闻，上海黄浦江特色游航班近日正式复航，市民游客度假消暑又多了新的选择。我们来听总台驻上海记者刘子怡的报道。
黄浦江两岸高楼鳞次栉比，江面上百舸争流，江鸥飞鸣，构成一幅迷人的画卷。我们在这里预祝大家旅途愉快。
8月18日起，上海浦江游览特色游航班正式复航。特色航班的航行时间集中在晚上6点到9点这一黄金时段。游客在畅享船上美食的同时，还可以欣赏黄浦江畔流光溢彩的夜景。复航首日，已有不少市民游客前来体验，感受夏日夜晚的习习凉风，驱散连日的暑热。
特别高兴，看到灯火辉煌的高楼大厦，一看到这个黄浦江这个龙船的游廊，特别的好，心情特别好，在我们甘肃那边是看不到的。
现在人少呢，睡得晚上也很舒适，老人来对了。疫情防控期间，上海黄浦江游览采取限流措施，建议每位游客提前预约登记，做好相应防疫措施。上船需出示72小时内核酸阴性报告。上海浦江游览特色游航班水晶公主号船长施俊杰，
看到第一天客人也蛮多的，心情还是蛮好，比我们预期的好。今天又多了，今天要100多，100左右。我们这个船呢，总的客位是380，现在他们要求呢是50%。
据了解，浦江游览航班的出发地16铺旅游码头，过去每年可接待游客200至300万人次，占浦江游览客流总量的70%左右。今年7月下旬，上海16铺旅游码头完成了环境综合改造提升工程。1号码头以时空之门为主题，打造了梦幻的夜景灯光，让码头从看不到、找不到转变为外滩打卡新地标。未来，上海16铺1号码头正式启用后，新扩容升级的检票闸机将提升客流通行速度50%以上，让市民游客的旅游体验更便捷、更有温度。
浙江义乌国际商贸城1区至5区18号起恢复常态化运营，运营户们抓紧时间开门接单，采购商纷纷进场。来听浙江台记者王小亮的报道。
我现在呢是在义乌国际商贸城1区的门口。义乌国际商贸城1区至5区恢复常态化运营。现在国际商贸城也是正式迎来了第一批的采购商。上午9点半，伊拉克客商卡米莱来到义乌国际商贸城1区。
健康码就打开我。
好的，健康码。
在微信扫。
好的，他在外商通道通过防疫检查后，来到1区2楼的饰品专区挑选各种饰品。又进了一个了不？什么菜乐是吗？
这个是9万年。
卡米莱在义乌经商18年，他告诉记者，在义乌经商的伊拉克客商有近1000人。随着义乌国际商贸城1区至5区恢复运营，作为伊拉克商会会长的他来打个前站，为商会的其他成员的采购做准备。我们有很多客户的，有的是买的设备的，有的是买的鞋子，有的是买的衣服、商品，有小商品是的，有很多商品的。你看呢，货是这么好的，这辆价格也是比较可以的。
那现在今天这第一天就可以赶紧小费这个。
你今天第一天呢是可以电话的，对。 开检查门，整理货品，将店铺收拾得干干净净，准备接待客户。他说：“
我上班了。
在家里的话，有没有歇着？
那没有，手机上现在微信什么的还可以联系的呀，跟客人聊聊啊，哪个经济单这样子。
有相应的业务在长城。
对，有。
采访中，经营户们纷纷表示，现在市场恢复营业了，他们也得抓紧时间把损失抢回来。
最喜欢义乌可能会多一点。接下来的话，我们努力的把所做出去的这些单子做完，然后努力的接下半年的单子嘛。
义乌商城集团市场运营分公司总经理王向荣说，市场方面也会在做好防疫的同时，采取多种措施，帮助经营户招引更多的采购商。
通过我们政策鼓励逐步强制引流顾客，来加速我们采购商的回流。此外呢，还会持续的开展一些云采洽、行业发展、分找货、线上与线下的贸易活动来聚商引流，向全球呢传递出市场稳定。
People like Ben Stokes is opting out of certain formats of the game. Is there too much cricket, or do people like Stokes think it's soft?
No, I don't think it's a bit soft, man. He's a tough guy as well. For the last year or two, we had that bubble. You know, that bubble thing actually played up to these things right now, where a player would say, hey, I'm fatigued, I can't play all formats. I think that actually lead up to what's happening now, the bubble life. If that's supposed to happen again, a bubble. You know, you'll see more people say, hey, I had enough, and that's it, they won't play again. Too much cricket. He's an all-rounder to play 3 formats. The game will miss him for sure, you know, because he's a key white man player as well, you know, and they will miss him in that 50 over format. So it's a big blow for England, and it's a perfect gap to fill as well. So, like I said, you'll see more people participate, and they think 50 over needs to be revamped in some way, I don't know. You know, but Test cricket will always want to be there, and T20 cricket.
So is 50 over cricket the one format of the game that's under threat through the squeeze of competitions?
I think so, yeah. Because you play so much T20 cricket, and then when you start to play a 50 over now, it's like you're on the field like the entire day. It's like 50 over takes something like a test match. It feels like that, you know. It feels like that because you play so much T20 cricket, and you just bang, 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 and the game finished. And then when it gets to that 50 over now, it's so dragged out a bit as well. It gets so dragged out and a bit, you know, boring.
审美是会变的，就是你人的在不同阶段，这个审美是会变的。很多时候，你会对于年轻的审美是不再认可的。就像我现在看我的大学毕业证，跟于谦老师似的，就烫了一头卷毛。哇塞！我最后每次在特别重要的各种的那个交证书啊什么之类的哈，对，都要去交我大学毕业证，还得去解释我当年为什么像于谦老师一样，那会儿他还没红呢。对，但是你的审美就变了，当时花了好几百块钱。
你就说谁没青春过吧？
对，但是我想说的是，对于一口好牙的审美，一直没有变，从有人类文明以来到现在，这是没有变过的。而另外一方面，这个健康的是一辈子的福气，所以年轻的同学们，你与其去那个整容，你不如把钱花到自己的牙的这个修整上。我这怪叔叔这爹味十足的念叨就到这儿。来，小陆大夫，你在这方面专业的建议是什么？
小陆大夫没有出现这条语录之前，竟然在前厅去洗了牙。你看，这个是前瞻性和一个医生对指这个口腔健康的要求。专业的建议就是大家尽可能还是不要走到种牙这一步，贵是一方面，遭罪是另一方面。更重要的是，如果你的一口恒牙能够达到80岁仍有20颗以上的这个牙齿能用的话，就达到国家这个8020的标准，其实是自己的原装的永远是最好的。但是如果在我们有缺失牙有需求的时候，我们就要到专业的机构找专业有经验的医生对您进行评估，您究竟是适合种植牙，还是适合这种可摘式的，还是这种固定式的假牙？我们并不要排斥说种植牙就一定是最好的，因为我们知道有一些前牙美学区的一些极端案例，种植牙可能还点核断航道跟踪观测、航道通告发布工作还在持续推进。
连日来，长江武汉段也出现历史同期最低水位，长江三鱼水道通航形势紧张。我们来听总台驻湖北记者彭照的报道。
上午10点，烈日
itu, mereka sudah mulai dari zaman kuno. Ini adalah zaman yang memberikan India beberapa pembekalan perempuan sama seperti Innisfail Since。
气温历史极值，重庆北碚最高气温达到了45摄氏度。
由于副热带高压迟迟不走，就像锅盖一样罩在长江流域，导致高温肆虐，酷热无比。昨天，国家气候中心正式宣布，当前我国高温热浪事件综合强度已达1961年以来最强。那么，高温天气到底什么时候才能消退呢？我们来听总台中国之声记者朱宏元的报道。
中央气象台首席预报员孙军介绍，全球气候变暖是长江流域出现异常高温的大背景，而副热带高压异常强盛是旱情发生最直接、最重要的原因。
那么这一轮高温，它是从7月21日以来，就是持续有点南高。今年高温的话，总体的特点的话，就持续时间比较长，先后已经经历了3个阶段的高温天气，目前的话还在持续当中，影响范围比较广。
孙军预计，本轮的高温将持续到25号，在下周南方持续的高温可能将迎来转折，届时底层冷空气南下，高温范围和强度都会有所收缩。孙军预计26号到27号，南方地区的高温范围减小，强度有所减弱。
现在从天气情况分析来看呢，从6日起到9月底这段时间之内，我国南方地区的高温强度有所减弱，出现就是35度以上高温的范围有一个明显减小，但是呢一些地方，你像江南东西部啊、西藏盆地、东部、华南北部部分地区吧，还会出现35度以上高温情况。它跟前期相比，这个高温的强度还有这个高温的范围明显减弱了。所以的话，现在来看26日南方地区，一个是出现的北方有冷气影响到这个地方，另外的话还会出现一些降雨，并且对这个高温维持起到一定的削弱的这个作用。
每个时代都有独特印记。我们用声音刻录丰碑，
在场所的每一天，我都为你的音符感应，我的心总等着
刚入土地，哪有功夫把推动？你出色的完成了党交给你的任务，感知家国情怀。
有5星红旗的地方，就有信念的灯塔。如果信念有颜色，那一定是奋斗正青春，青春献给党。
成品交付，提供从选材、设计、动、加工、出贴到售后的提供整体解决方案。
第2球投げたインコース、これも高め直球投げたボール、胸のあたりの高さ、ツーボール。どうでしょう、ちょっと高めに抜けてきてますが、この回ですね。
ちょっとおかしいですね、リズムがね。
キャッチャーの仙台育英の尾形が間を取ってマウンドに行きました。ピッチャーのところ、ピッチャーの湯田のところに行って話をします。
多分先ほどね、聖光学院斉藤監督が選手集めてお話しされてたんですけど、
そうですね、
やっぱりこのままで終わっていいのかっていう、ね、
なるほど、
試合を入れられたんじゃないかなと思うんですよね。
ですから今バッターの安田がバッターボックスに入った時大きな声出しましたもんね。
気迫ありますよ。
ツーボールから第3球を投げました。バントの構え、見送る。アウトコースから外れてボール、3ボールです。11時になりましたが、ニュースはこの回、聖光学院の攻撃の終わり次第お伝えします。さあ、7球連続ボールです。福島聖光学院15対1、追いかける攻撃。一塁牽制球はまた14点リードですが、牽制の構えということで、
ここはいいんですよ。
はい、
牽制球投げて、牽制がなんかそういう効果で。
なるほど。3ボールから第4球投げました。バントの構えで揺さぶる。インコース直球見送ってストライク、ワンストライクです。
それから、ホームに投げてもストライクは入ってないので、
なるほど。
牽制球を投げて、一応感覚を確かめるために牽制球を投げるっていう。
うまくいってないからこその今の牽制は OK だと。
そうなんです。
3ボールワンストライクから5球目を投げました。あとは初球じゃない、いい当たり、一塁に構えなさい、抜けてから一塁ランナースタート、二塁を回って小さく回って止まりました。ノーアウトランナーが一塁二塁、6回の裏福島聖光学院、いい打順の巡り、4番のライト三好を迎えます。
粘り強く今ね食らってきましたね。
この回の攻撃前、三塁側ダグアウトの中でおそらく斉藤監督の指示があったでしょう。
多分気合い入れられたと思いますけど、この後は手のかそういうのね、そういう気圧あふれる今バッティングですよね。
さあ4番のライト三好、先ほどはいい当たりのセンターフライ、ヒットを1本放っています。好打者三好、右のバッターボックス、二塁に牽制球、ショートベースカバー、タッチはしません。仙台育英はやはり外野手定位置より右よりレフト線が大きく空いています。ノーアウトランナー一塁二塁、4番のライト三好、右バッターにマウンド上湯田が投げました。高めのスライダー、これも抜けてボール、胸のあたりの高さですから3人続けて先頭バッター初球がボールという入りになりました。この回です。6回の裏15対1、14点差、第2球を仙台育英